Welcome to Growing Your Team, a podcast designed for small business owners seeking to grow their company with the help of employees and contractors. Your time is limited, which means growing and leveraging teams is essential for business success. The Growing Your Team podcast is the place to learn tips and techniques designed to help you know when it's the right time to hire, how to select perfect fit team members, and how to maximize productivity while creating a positive work environment. Drawing from her 10-plus years of leadership and hiring experience, here is your host, Jamie Van Kuyk.
Hello, Jamie Van Kuyk here, and welcome back to the Growing Your Team podcast. Today, we are answering a question that I get a lot, and that is, should I be hiring a VA for my business? Now, if your business falls into the online business world, you are probably very familiar with what a VA or a virtual assistant is. However, if your business does not fall into the online business world, this might be a new term for you. You might have never heard of a virtual assistant before, or you might have started recently hearing about that position, that type of title in your business circle, and you're wondering, should I hire a VA? Well, whether you are an online business or a brick and mortar business or some hybrid in between, the answer is always fairly similar. The short of the answer is, it depends. I know. Another one of those business things where I can't really give you a 100% straight answer because there's so many different things that go into making up a good answer. However, I can give you some of the things to consider when you are deciding if your business should hire a VA. Or once again, the VA is short for virtual assistant. First, when it comes to hiring for any position, anytime you're going to give money out to somebody, you need to make sure you have a need to hire. So if you're not sure if you have a need to hire, that is the first thing that you need to figure out. So if you're trying to figure out if you have a need to hire, if hiring is the right move for you at this time, go back and listen to episode number 5, How to Know If Hiring is the Right Move. In that episode, we discuss the 4 signs that your business needs an extra set of hands. So that's step number 1. Because if your business does not need extra hands, it doesn't matter what position you hire. Any position you add to your business is not going to give you the return on your investment that you are hoping for. So 1, if you don't have any need to hire, you already know that hiring a virtual assistant is not for you. Okay, so let's move forward pretending that you do have a need in your business. You do need to hire. So what's next? How do you know if a virtual assistant is right for you? Well, let's talk about what is a virtual assistant. So a virtual assistant is someone who falls into what can really fall into those admin type positions, so those back of the house positions that are doing work for your business. Typically, a virtual assistant by nature is an independent contractor. They are not an employee of your business. And this is what makes virtual assistants so popular in the online business world. They can get work done in their business. They could have a lot of things going on, a lot of hands helping them on the back end, and not actually have employees. Not having to worry about the stress of employee level taxes or any of the other things that come along with employees. You're just getting hands to help where needed within your business. But knowing this means that a virtual assistant doesn't necessarily work for all businesses. Why? Because for some businesses, what you need help with cannot be done by an independent contractor. The position needs to be an employee level position. So we talked a lot about employees versus independent contractors in a few episodes of the podcast. So some of them, just for you to go back and review, are episode 7, where we talk about the true difference between employees and independent contractors, and then episode 8, when we talk with April Goodwin about how to avoid the risk of employee misclassification. So the short part of it is you have to remember an independent contractor is a separate business that's doing work for your business. When you hire a business, they own the control of the relationship according to the IRS, which means in most situations, you don't get to control when, where, or how they work. However, with employees, they are someone who's working for your business. Seeing they are an individual and you are the boss, you own the control of the relationship. While there's, once again, many things, many factors that go into how the relationship is swayed to measure who owns the control, for the most part, sometimes you can look at it this way. When you hire an employee, you are in control of when, where, and how they work. Why is this important? Because when you hire someone, if you need someone to work specific hours, if you need an admin who's going to be in your office, if you want someone who's going to follow your exact process, then you need an employee, not a contractor, which means that a virtual assistant is probably not right for you. However, if you're in a position where you say, I just need XYZ done, I just need someone to schedule my social media, I just need someone who's going to help set up this. I just need someone who's going to help me get through my email. I don't care when it's done, whether it's done between the hours of 9 to 5 or in the evening, or if someone does a little bit of here, a little bit there, a little bit there, then those are cases where hiring a virtual assistant, hiring an independent contractor can work for you. When you're okay with not being in control of everything and hiring the expert who's going to be knowledgeable at what you need done and going to get it done. So when you hire a virtual assistant, you're hiring them for the end result of what you need. So you need someone to help you manage your inbox. A managed inbox is the end result. You need to hire someone to manage your social media. A managed social media account where you have posts going out that are attracting your ideal client, that are getting the engagement that you need, is the end result. That you are hiring them because they're the expert who's going to get you there. So if you, for your business, you have the flexibility where you can hire for just the end result and you don't need to dictate where they work, the exact process they follow, and when they work, then yes, maybe hiring a virtual assistant is right for you. But if you need someone at your business location, if you need someone working set hours, if you need someone who's going to follow your very, very detailed process, because the process matters and not just the end result, then a virtual assistant might not be for you, and you might need to go and hire a normal admin, an executive assistant, someone who's going to be there at your business location with you, or someone who, even if they're remote, is going to be an employee position. Because that's one thing to know. A virtual assistant and a remote assistant are two different things. A virtual assistant is an independent contractor. A remote assistant is typically an employee. So they are different positions, even though they're both working outside of your office location, because one's an employee and the other one's not. All right, so let's say you have a need to hire. You find out that a virtual assistant is right for you because you don't need anything that would make that person fall into the employee category. What's next? Well, the other thing to know about virtual assistants is the most generic job title that exists. There is so much that goes into that title. You can put 10 people in a room that are virtual assistants, and they all do something different. So if you decide that hiring a virtual assistant is right for you, you need to figure out what type of virtual assistant is best. Who's going to give you the results that you need? And I don't mean who by an individual, I mean who by category of workers. What is their expertise? Virtual assistants could work on social media, podcasts, helping you get speaking engagement, help you clean your email, helping you with your back-end systems, invoicing, pretty much anything that goes on in the back end of your business. A virtual assistant can do that. But just because one virtual assistant can do it doesn't mean another virtual assistant can. So you need to make sure that you're hiring the best for you, and that's knowing what type of virtual assistant you need, what they're going to do for your business, and what those end results are going to be, so that way you can narrow your search down to the right pool of virtual assistants. Because as I always say, just because someone is amazing at what they do doesn't mean they're going to be amazing for you. So you need to find the person that's amazing for you. So to wrap up today, do you need a virtual assistant? Is hiring a virtual assistant right for your business? And once again, it depends. It depends on if you actually need to hire someone for your business and if that work can be done by someone who falls into a virtual assistant bucket. So someone who is an independent contractor and not an employee. So someone who doesn't need to be in a set location, working set hours, or follow your very specific process, but someone who is just more focused on getting the end results that you need. So delivering a final project and you're happy no matter what path they took to get there. If the answer is yes to those, then dig in, find out what type of virtual assistant you need so you make sure that you find the right help. So where do you need help to figure out if hiring a virtual assistant is right for you? If you're stuck at step 1, you're not quite sure if you actually need help, then go back, like I mentioned, and listen to podcast episode number 5, where we talk about how to know if hiring is the right move. If you're trying to figure out if hiring an independent contractor works for your position and for your business, once again, go listen to episode number 7 and episode number 8, where we talk about the difference between employees and independent contractors and how to not get in trouble for employee misclassification. Because trust me, this is a big one. You do not want to get stuck paying fines, penalties, and back taxes that you shouldn't owe. It would if you did things right from the start. And finally, if you have all that figured out and now you're trying to determine what should this person help you with, then I encourage you to download my 3-part method for finding out who to hire. So download my Who to Hire worksheet at growingyourteam.com/who-to-hire. So grab your free copy of the worksheet, work through what type of position you should add to your business so that way you make sure that not only do you hire someone who's amazing at what they do, but you hire the person that is going to be amazing for your business.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Growing Your Team with your host, Jamie Van Kuyk. Be sure to subscribe and head on over to growingyourteam.com to connect, access the show notes, and discover more ways to hire and leverage your perfect fit team.